Stop being with a girl and go on 3 dates and say, well, we just going to keep going till the vibe is good. And then we start having sex. We have sex long enough until we have a baby. Now we have a baby. Now we got to get an apartment. Now that we got to get an apartment, we got more kids. Stop living your life in the idea that we are vibing. This whole idea that men just move off a vibe is ridiculous. Have a plan. Tell your children, especially the young men, to have a plan from 18. What you want to do, how much money do you want to make? You know, we all say when we get older, if I only knew what I knew now 10 years before, how different my life would be. And now we arguing that if we do that to our younger generation, that they're going to be in the same position. That is ridiculous. We literally say it when we get grown. Like, damn, I wish I'd have known this when I was younger.
Of course. And that means the people that you were around.
That's literally what we say.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can only teach what you know, right? So people who are saying, Dad, I wish I had known that when I was younger.
Mistaken, do you know it now?
Please let me finish.
You got to talk to the conversation that we have in Mistaken. You're not talking to the conversation we have in.
Listen, most people who say, man, I wish I had known that when I was younger, means that they weren't around somebody that knew that information that they just learned, right? So expecting people to teach something that they don't know about, it makes no sense. So my parents,
Let's take it, please. Let me jump in right there, please. I need to ask a question, please.
Oh my gosh. Please let me just
y'all
finish.
Don't never want to talk to each other. Why don't y'all just have a conversation with each other?
I'm trying to finish.
Oh, you're trying to talk. You're trying to go on a talking lecture instead of talking to him.
Let me land, because this is my opinion. I should be able to express it the way that I want. What I'm saying is, if I look at my grandparents, my parents, and then myself, and then my kids. So these are 4 generations. My grandparents accumulated wealth with making way less money than I have. They left my grandmother's still alive. But my grandfather was able to retire her in like her 40s or whatever. And he had homes or whatever. So they accumulated wealth through that, right? Making less money than each generation after them. But they didn't have the financial literacy that, Darwin, you're referring to, about whatever you're saying, 401cs or whatever. They didn't have that. They just had basic understanding of finances. Save more than you spend, right? Like, take care of your basic needs, always put money away for a rainy day, live below your means, right? So that allowed them to buy the additional houses that they bought to earn more income. Parents, same thing. They only learned from what my grandparents knew. And then they passed that same knowledge on to us, right? But in this generation, there is more access to that knowledge. So now we do have more of a knowledge set, a financial understanding than the previous generation. But you can only teach what you know. That's all I'm saying. Y'all are asking people to understand something that they don't know themselves. You're asking people to teach something that they don't know themselves. You're asking them to go places where that information is. But if I think that I'm doing well, I'm not going to know to seek that information or where to go. That's all I'm saying.
I think what you just said,
but that has nothing
to said for him to respond, though.
Yeah, so that has nothing to do with the conversation at all. It really doesn't, because when we are all sitting on the panel and we are given information to people that have younger children to say, hey, start your career earlier, stop being willy-nilly in the world, right? That's all. Don't be willy-nilly. Start thinking about your career at 18. All those other things, financial. The reason why me and Darn was able to succeed, because we started thinking career, and then we started thinking finances, then we started thinking, like, all those things move you into a certain direction once you start with something first that is in a productive mindset. You don't have to be My parents did not teach me anything about financial literacy. Me wanting to be a better human being, better and take care of my family got me into that position. So you don't need parents to teach them financial literacy. You need parents to teach their young men how to plan for a future and get into a career that's going to take care of them. So once that happened, all those other things will start to move in the right direction is what we're saying. And I don't know why it is so much pushback for young men to start thinking career-minded first so they could start eventually get into the financial literacy part. They get into building a family part. Stop being with a girl and go on 3 dates and say, well, we just going to keep going till the vibe is good. And then we start having sex. We have sex long enough until we have a baby. Now we have a baby. Now we got to get an apartment. Now that we got to get an apartment, we got more kids. Stop living your life in the idea that we are vibing. This whole idea that men just move off a vibe is ridiculous. Have a plan. Tell your children, especially the young men, to have a plan from 18. What you want to do, how much money do you want to make? And then when he tell you that number, hey, what 10 jobs you could get that bring that kind of money? That kind of money that you're looking for, can it take care of you, your wife, and your goddamn kids?
Stop yelling. Stop yelling.
If the answer is no to all those goddamn things, then you picked the wrong fucking career.
That's a dumb piece of advice. I'm sorry,
and
my
not
brother.
only
You guys
that, he was out of line for saying that what I said didn't make sense, or that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about financial literacy. But go ahead, True.
Yeah, no, how y'all doing? I've been listening. I literally just came. What's going on? Literally just came in from San Diego, so I apologize for my tardiness. And I was attempting to hear some things. Trev, you was holding it down. Marcus, you came in and cleaned some things up. Mistaken, I seen they've been bullying you back and forth, so I apologize on behalf of the two brothers in the corner. Sharon and both Darwin, you guys, I think, talk past a lot of the concepts, and the contradictions are just on 10. We are talking about financial literacy in an economy right now where money does not even exist and it's not real. Y'all ideals are cute and passion driven, but it's baseless. Most of the measure of what somebody's going to do is their collective of what they're about. There was a concept back in the day where you grew up around farmers, you knew what you was going to be. You didn't have to even think about it. That's not too far-fetched now. You guys may be the anomalies. Y'all may be the broke the mold. You may be ingenuitive, smart, intelligent, pull yourself up by your bootstrap, but your measure of success is not scalable. That's the dangerous part about your rhetoric. The fact that you're sitting here saying career already tells me that you don't know what the heck you're talking about. Because in this particular Americas, the only way you thrive in this Americas is based on the term sheets and what you own, asset class, and things of that nature. So career means that this person is probably going to be a W-2 employee, which means they're going to pay the highest amount of taxes, which means they're not going to be able to scale. So you don't know what the heck you're talking about. Most of us don't even grow up in two-parent households, don't have tribes, don't have enough competency, as Ms. Taken was talking about, to be able to know the difference between what leverage is and credit and so on and so forth. So I really don't understand why we can't have an actual honest conversation. If you want to sit up on a panel and say, I was able to figure it out, I was bold enough, I made the sacrifices, then do that. But don't speak for the entire community when you know God well that this community doesn't even know how to talk in a reality that just is existent. We can't get to very common things. Y'all just said 20 minutes ago, you can't get the women to agree to go on dates that aren't of what they consider to be the level of what they deserve from an interaction that has nothing to do with your financial.
We're not talking about grown people. We're not talking about grown folks. I don't know why y'all keep turning into these.
I don't know if he was finished yet. Was you finished, True?
Most 18-year-olds, you know what they do? They say, hey, I got a bottle and I got Netflix. Come and chill. They ain't going to no damn Applebee's.
Why do they do that? Why do they do that?
If we're going to be in reality, if we're going to be in reality, True, majority of people that are young are not taking, they ain't going on dates. They going to hang out and vibe, drink some liquor, smoke some things, and then they do whatever they do. I don't know why we trying to act like these young people are going to. This is insane to me. We are not talking about 40-year-olds.
Jerron, he asked me a question. Why can't y'all just talk to each other to figure out what a disconnect? What y'all are doing is keep talking past each other and lecturing each other on y'all opinion on the whole argument instead of asking each other questions to figure out where the disconnect is at.
I had 2 hours of listening to you guys on my end, being a listener, because I could not, necessarily interact.
Okay, so True, you know what? I'm gonna take Darwin's advice, and hopefully we both gonna follow Darwin. We gonna both take Darwin's advice. True. Do you think that young men starting at 18 with a mindset of career driven will help them in the future?
Yes.
Do you believe if a man that started off at 18 and he starts with a plan, would that help him build a family?
I think it can assist. Yeah, sure. But that's one level of it.
Perfect. That's why we asked the question, so we could get through all the levels where you have a real disagreement at. So now, if a young man at 18 to 28 get all his finances in set, and now in the next 20 years he's going to set himself to retire, will he be able to take his wife out of the workforce?
It is possible, sure. Is it scalable? Probable, probably not. Because again, it's the individual.
What is not? So now, what is the scalable part that you're talking about? That you don't believe every man can be career driven?
No, I think every man can be career driven. But the outcome of what his career driven and what the circumstances are behind having career outcomes are very different. You can be career driven all you want. There's other people in the marketplace that are competing for the very thing that you want. So you're one person amongst a mass of people. So that's one. On top of the fact that I heard you guys say something about an hour and a half ago, where we talk about going to college, 18 to 28. The mere fact that we don't have people who are even setting up college funds to be able to pool to send young men and young women to college without debt is a part of the problem of why I can't see how y'all saying career driven, work hard, and within a perfect.
Trev, if you was listening, did I pigeonhole us to going to college?
No, you didn't pigeonhole. No, you didn't. You utilized the military. You said college is not for everybody. You said
trade school, and I said I'm not going to even go to trade school route. That's too easy. I said let me just go to the military route. You don't. It's not always college. I agree with you. It's not always college, and I agree with you. Just because you're career driven, don't mean that you're going to be able to get the desired outcome. And I think the outcome we were arguing about is being able to let your wife not work or take your wife out of the workplace.
Okay, but why is that the focal point of a young man? In my honest opinion, I think that's dangerous in itself. If you can arrive at that point, I think this is how I heard it. If you were telling young men to be productive, be the best man that you are capable of being, I have no argument. If you were to say that if you can get to a point to where you could retire your wife, do that, I'd have no argument. But you guys are pushing this narrative, making it seem like that should be his goal. And from your vantage point,
you're not saying that should be his goal.
That's what
that's
y'all
definitely
been
what y'all been doing for the past 2 hours.
Okay, well let me clear something up. I made an extreme statement that a lot of people was up in arms about. I said that I don't believe, and I said it was my opinion, right? I don't believe my woman should call another man her boss. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. I said I think we should treat our wives delicate. I said I think we should, especially black women who are going into a unprotected industry, healthcare, and then being unprotected. This is their argument. So I'm using the argument of women to be able to make the argument that I'm making today. If that is the case, you could get a doula, you can get all this stuff, but you got to be able to afford it. What I'm saying is, if you don't want your woman at work, and your woman, we know most women don't want to work. They would rather stay home. So if that is the desired outcome, I'm saying there is ways to reach the desired outcome. And I think financial literacy is the most significant key factor. And you would have to practice that before you start making financial decisions.
Cool. Let's take that, because I heard Ms. Taken say something that was profound, and you guys just completely just threw it outside and kicked it around. She talked about community. She said that there was a tribe. A lot of what y'all talking about is baked into community, financial literacy, structure, support. The reason why we have this problem now is because we want to dismantle what has worked for thousands of years. And now we want to arrive current day and put all of the weight of the world on one man, and say that he needs to be so proficient, so sharp, so skilled, so driven that he needs to be able to consume knowledge, wisdom, financial literacy, and know how to navigate the world perfectly in a 10-year time span, no matter his circumstances. That, my brothers, is a fallacy. That's not reality. Okay. You would have a better chance encouraging young people, men and women alike, to be looking to build y'all community, whatever they may look like current day. Because we have the internet and things are different and people come from broken homes, we need to figure out what our nuclear family looks like right now. Because the only way you're getting to the championship of this financial literacy that you're talking about is collectively. It's not an individual journey.
So let's do this. Mistaken. You remember when you brought up the fact that you had an extra set of hands and you were trying to fit that into the interruption to let Sharon know that, remember? Who was the one who said, hold on, Mistaken said she had help. I said that, didn't I?
That I had help. Yeah,
that you had help raising your kids, right? And what did I say? I said that changes the conversation. And I said, what is the likelihood of most people having help, the hands you had? And I think Sharon pivoted.
Sharon, goddamn
people are having their kids at a certain point to where the typical grandmother that would raise our kids and getting them out couldn't assist with yours because she was still raising the kids, you know, at a late age, because women were on a trajectory of having their kids after closer to 30 or either sometimes after 30. So it's harder for her to, like back in the days, to your point, True, for grandmothers, actually great grandmothers used to exist at a higher rate than they do now. Those are becoming extinct. The longer the woman prolonged to have her first child after 30. So I agree with you that the nuclear family is critical in combination with financial literacy.